Lately, I've been thinking a lot about the future of gaming, the direction we're headed in, some of the different patterns I've been seeing, and I wanted to come on and just share my ideas, my thoughts about where I think we're headed in the gaming industry over the next 5, 10, 15 plus years. And I want to start this video by talking about some of the directions I don't think we're going in, some of the technologies I don't see us adopting or having, a much bigger adoption than they have now. And the first one I want to talk about is VR. And I could take you back to when VR was first announced, released, and there was a lot of hype around it. VR gaming was a big topic. A lot of people at that time thought that the future of gaming was VR. And maybe they're right in the far distant future, but VR definitely didn't take over, dominate in the way that a lot of people thought it would. It kind of has a niche adoption today, I would say. And I found that interesting. And I just want to talk about it a bit because VR had a huge potential. It did get some adoption, but I still don't really see it taking over gaming in any meaningful way over the next, 5, 10, 15 plus years. Now, farther than that down the road, there's definitely some huge potential for VR. Down in the far distant future, we definitely could move into sort of that ready player one gaming environment, but we're not quite there today. And the reason why I don't think we're going to see that big VR adoption is because one, the cost is still high, and I think it's going to remain high. There is a lot of challenges that need to be worked out with VR. For example, the bulky headsets, getting users more engaged, more immersed, people having motion sickness, the amount of space you need while you're playing VR games, all these kind of things. And then I think you still have a large amount of people that just don't want to do anything physical while they're gaming. And that's not really something you can take out of VR if you want a truly immersive experience. The other thing with VR today, as we have it, is that it only really encompasses two of your senses, right? Sight and hearing. And for a truly VR experience, for a truly immersive experience, you need to capture all five of those senses. And I know companies are working on these problems, and I assume in the future one day we'll get there, but I really don't see VR getting that heavy adoption over the next 10 to 20 or so years. So I don't think we're going to move in a big VR direction, at least in my opinion. Although who knows, right? With AI breaking through, who knows what kind of giant leaps we could make in VR. But personally, I don't think we're going that way. The next one I want to talk about, kind of another direction where I don't think we're headed in, is cloud gaming. And this is another one that came out and on paper sounds really good. And actually, I was kind of excited for this. And I initially thought it would do a lot better than it has done, or at least have a lot more adoption than it's had, right? And if you don't know, cloud gaming is essentially when the games run on hardware on the cloud. So you don't own the hardware and the games essentially get streamed to you, right? And the benefit of cloud gaming is that you can really play on any device, any monitor, because you don't need the hardware to run the game. It's being streamed to you, just like a movie, for example, on Netflix, except the problem with cloud gaming as opposed to cloud streaming movies is that there's a lot more complex challenges you need to figure out, especially in regards to latency, right? When you're watching a movie, the movie is always the same. You can push that to the viewer, they can cache it on there and they can stream it. Whereas gaming depends on your inputs, right? And latency is a huge problem with cloud gaming. But in theory, if they could solve that latency issue, I think cloud gaming would be a really interesting direction. And I think it really would have a lot more adoption. I'm just not confident they're going to be able to figure that out anytime soon, right? And I think you still have a good chunk of people that want to own their games, want to own their hardware. So I think cloud gaming, it's an interesting direction. I think we could see more adoption there, but I don't think that's going to be the general or the primary area people are moving towards. We've seen companies come and go like Google Stadia. There are still a lot of cloud gaming companies today and people are using it, but well, I think that's going to be an area, a direction we go in the more distant future. I definitely could see that because again, you get access to your games anywhere on any device. I don't think it's where we're headed over the next 5, 10, 20 years. So that begs the question, what direction do I think we're going to move in? Where do I think we're going to see the most adoption? And I think we're going to see the most adoption with devices like this, with portable, handheld gaming devices, let's call them. And I'm not saying specifically the Switch 2 or the Switch. I'm just saying in general, portable gaming. And the reason why I say that is that what they're going to be able to pack into devices like this over the next 5, 10, 20 plus years is going to be incredible. Plus, all the improvements they're going to be able to make with AI. I just think the quality and the performance of handheld gaming is going to skyrocket up over the next, again, 5, 10, 20 or so years. It's going to become really amazing. And I think a lot more people are going to move to that because you get the huge benefit of being able to take your games on the go, right? Being able to travel with them on an airplane, in your car, take them outside the house, etc., right? And having that advantage of being able to play anywhere is huge, right? And that could be solved by cloud gaming, but again, I just don't think the technology is going to be there for that. But we're always going to have devices like this. And we've even got rumors now that Sony is going to be coming out with a new handheld device to rival or compete against the Switch 2. And I actually believe that rumor. I think Sony's going to do it. And I think it's a really good idea because let's be honest, the PSP, the Vita back in the day, those were awesome devices. Sony's really good at handhelds. And the PlayStation Portal, while it's cool, like for me personally, I never got one, and I never had the need to get one knowing I could only really use it within my house, right? Like I want something I can take out of the house. That would make me drop the money for it, but the Portal wasn't for me. I do think the Portal's cool, but I think the advantages are really in having that full handheld system you can take on the go. So I think we're going to get that PlayStation, a new PlayStation portable device. We're going to get the Steam Deck 2 and maybe some others, right? And I think that's where we're going to start to see the biggest adoption. There's always going to be, PC gamers or console gamers because those options are always going to have the best performance at least in the near future, right? If you're buying a big tower PC with a high-end graphics card, you're always going to be smoking everybody else in terms of performance. But these devices, right, because the screens aren't too big, you don't need the most amazing resolution, and we're already reaching pretty high frame rates, right? It's not where we need it to be, but it's pretty good. We're seeing some pretty amazing things on the Switch 2. I think the Steam Deck 2 is going to be awesome. I think what PlayStation delivers is going to be awesome. So that's my prediction. That is where I think we're going to see the most adoption in the near future. And I'm really excited for it actually because I love handheld devices. That's how I prefer gaming. Being able to have something like this where I can just play anywhere I want. And then when I want to play on the TV, I just plug it in, right? So I got the best of both worlds. The only thing it's lacking right now is that really high end graphics, high frame rate, really the polish. It's lacking that really nice polish. It's got some polish, don't get me wrong. The Switch 2 is pretty awesome. I really enjoy it. But a little bit more elbow grease, a few more years, and I think we're going to see some amazing, some incredible handheld consoles that you can also hook up to your TV, just like the Switch 2. And I think that's the direction we're going to move in for the foreseeable future. And I think AI is really going to enable that as well. So definitely want to hear your thoughts. What direction do you think we're going to go in? Do you think we're going to get a lot more adoption into these handheld consoles, handheld devices, or go somewhere else, VR, cloud computing, or other areas? Let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe for more, and have a good day.